That stubborn after-meal heaviness and right-side pangs aren't random. They're your liver quietly asking for help. Ignore the signals and the risk is real. More fatigue, brain fog, and skin flare-ups. Stay with me for safe, practical steps that lighten the load and help you feel steady again. I'm going to be honest with you, the liver rarely shouts. It whispers. While the American day races from a drive-thru breakfast to a soda refill lunch and a late-night snack in front of a glowing screen, this quiet organ is sorting, filtering, and balancing. Think of it as the city's traffic controller, detoxifying compounds, packaging nutrients, and keeping the energy grid stable. When that traffic gets too heavy, the first signs don't look dramatic. They look ordinary, so ordinary that most of us shrug and blame a long meeting, a second slice of pepperoni pizza, or the seasonal latte with extra syrup. Today, I want to help you recognize those early whispers and take gentle, practical steps that respect your body's limits without fads, panic, or impossible rules. Let me set a clear expectation before we begin. This is education, not diagnosis. If any symptom is intense, persistent, or worrying, a licensed professional is your next stop. We're here to spot patterns and make everyday choices safer and kinder to your physiology. And because precision matters in health, I'll share small actions you can start today, plus a simple bonus strategy I'll reveal at the end of this journey, something you can do at breakfast in under 30 seconds to support your liver's workload. It only works if you prepare it correctly, and I'll spell that out when the time is right. First, a quick reality check from everyday life. Picture the morning rush. You're in line for a large flavored coffee, sweet as dessert, because you slept short again. By noon, it's a burger and fries washed down with an extra large cola, because refills are practically a birthright and the office AC is freezing. Afternoon arrives and productivity dips. You reach for a pastry from the break room because the emails won't stop. Dinner happens late, followed by a streaming session and a bag of kettle chips. None of this is a moral failure. It's a cultural rhythm, built into commutes, portion sizes, and convenience. But stacked together, these choices ask the liver to do overtime, again and again. Here's what's fascinating. The liver has remarkable resilience. It can adapt to swings in sugar and fat intake, alcohol on weekends, and the occasional heavy barbecue plate with sticky sauces. Yet every adaptation costs resources. When the incoming traffic outpaces processing speed, subtle signals appear. Energy dips that feel like just me being tired. Skin changes that seem like random bad luck. Bloating that you chalk up to sparkling water. Many of these hints are reversible, if you notice, and if you know which levers to pull. Let's start by lightening the load in ways that don't feel like punishment. First, hydrate with intention. A tall glass of water before your first coffee helps your system start the day with adequate fluid for circulation and bile flow. If you enjoy tea, choose unsweetened options. If you love fizz, keep seltzer, but skip syrups. Second, scan labels for added sugars under their many names, especially in breakfast staples and sauces. High fructose corn syrup, cane sugar, brown rice syrup, even concentrated fruit juice can add up across the day. Third, build a steadier morning plate, protein and fiber together. Think oatmeal topped with chopped apple and a spoon of plain yogurt, or eggs with sautéed greens and whole grain toast. Balanced meals reduce the roller coaster that leaves you hunting for snacks an hour later. Fourth, create a short daily movement buffer. 10 minutes of easy walking after meals helps nudge blood sugar and triglycerides in the right direction without intensity or guilt. These are tiny hinges that swing big doors over time. I also want to be transparent about safety. Herbs, spices, and concentrated supplements can interact with medications or irritate the stomach if used in high amounts. Preparation and quantity matter more than most people realize. That is why I'll always give exact, modest amounts and gentle methods. If you have specific conditions, pregnancy, gallbladder disease, diabetes, or you take anticoagulants, ask your clinician before changing anything substantial. The goal is to empower you, not to gamble with guesswork. Now for a small revelation that changes how you interpret your day. The earliest sign of an overloaded liver often hides behind the most ordinary complaint, feeling drained after eating. Not the cozy sleepiness of a Sunday brunch, the odd drop that makes your eyes heavy at your desk, as though someone dimmed the lights inside your head. This dip loves company. A syrupy coffee to kickstart the morning, a white bun burger with cheese at noon, then a mid-afternoon sugar rescue. That cycle feels familiar because it is, and it is precisely where we can intervene with simple, repeatable choices. If any of this sounds like your routine, take heart. You're not broken, you're busy, and your biology is doing its best with the inputs it receives. Small swaps add up: water before caffeine, an unsweetened beverage at lunch, a dinner that lands a little earlier, and a 10-minute stroll to cap the evening. We'll keep building on these fundamentals as we unpack the patterns your liver has been trying to tell you about. As we continue, stay with me for a practical breakdown of those energy dips and the foggy focus that sometimes follows. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results. It may also bring unwanted side effects for some people, especially if amounts or preparation are off. I'll keep it clear, calm, and useful, so you can apply it safely. Remember that mid-afternoon dip that seems to arrive right after a fast lunch and a sweet drink? And the morning that begins with a dessert-like coffee because sleep was short again? Those everyday choices set the stage for the first two signs that your liver is quietly overloaded. They don't look dramatic. They look like life in motion: emails, errands, a drive-thru, and something salty while streaming late. But under the surface, your body is juggling sugar, fat, and signaling molecules, and the liver is the one holding most of the balls in the air. Let's make this concrete. Sign number 1 is persistent tiredness that clusters around meals, especially meals heavy in refined carbs and fats. Picture a burger with fries and a large soda, or a big slice of deep dish pizza with a creamy dressing salad and a refill of sweet tea. About an hour later, your energy vanishes as if a switch flipped. That drop is more than a food coma. It's a metabolic tug-of-war. Glucose spikes, insulin rises, and the liver receives a rush of substrates, including fructose from sweetened beverages, that it prioritizes for processing. The workload goes up quickly, and the result for many people is a wave of fatigue. The fix isn't punishment. It's smarter structure. Here's a simple framework you can start using today. Build a steadier plate: protein, fiber, and color. Protein slows digestion. Fiber, especially from oats, beans, berries, and broccoli, helps modulate the post-meal curve. Colorful plants bring polyphenols that support cell signaling. Swap the oversized bun for a whole grain option or lettuce wrap, split the fries, add a side of greens, and choose water or unsweetened iced tea. If you love your morning coffee, keep it, but skip the syrups and whipped toppings that turn a beverage into dessert. And create a ritual walk: 10 minutes at a comfortable pace after larger meals. Nothing heroic, just consistency. These choices keep the metabolic traffic flowing so the liver isn't forced to do triage after every bite. Sign number 2 often piggybacks on the first: mental fog. You know the feeling. Your focus blurs, words come slower, and you reread the same sentence twice. The brain is exquisitely sensitive to blood glucose swings and inflammatory signals, and the foods that push the liver hardest, sugar-sweetened drinks, frequent fried foods, oversized portions, often nudge those pathways. It's not that one pastry ruins your productivity. It's the pattern of many small hits, day after day, that leaves your mind a half step behind. To counter that fog, think in layers. Start the morning with a balanced plate that doesn't flood your system. Oatmeal topped with chopped nuts and cinnamon, Greek yogurt with berries and a sprinkle of ground flax, or eggs and sautéed spinach with whole grain toast. Add a glass of water first thing. The liver's chemistry runs on hydration. If you snack, make it purposeful: an apple with peanut butter, carrots with hummus, or a handful of almonds. Simple, satisfying, and less likely to trigger a roller coaster. Plan coffee like a tool. Enjoy it black or with a splash of milk, and pair it with real food instead of pastries that dissolve into quick sugar. If alcohol is part of your week, keep it modest and never use it to fix stress or sleep. The liver will always place it at the front of the line, postponing other tasks. It's worth acknowledging that many North American habits weren't designed with physiology in mind. Free refills, all-day breakfast menus, snack aisles the length of a city block — these are convenient, familiar, and comforting. Rather than judge them, calibrate them. A refill of water between refills of soda. A breakfast sandwich without the extra sauce packet. A grocery cart with 2 or 3 high-fiber staples that live on your counter so they're easy to grab. Tweaks beat overhauls. Over time, these small pivots create a background of stability so your liver can keep pace. Let me pause for a safety note. None of this replaces medical advice. If fatigue or mental fog is severe, new, or getting worse, or if you have conditions like diabetes, thyroid disease, anemia, sleep apnea, or depression, a clinician can help you find the real cause. Likewise, supplements aren't shortcuts. High doses of certain herbs can interact with medications or irritate the gut. Preparation and amounts matter, and we'll stick to gentle, food-first strategies you can adapt to your life. Now, here's a small but powerful experiment you can run this week. For 3 consecutive days, anchor your lunch around a 3x3 template. 3 components: protein, fiber, color, chosen in under 3 minutes. For example, rotisserie chicken, a cup of mixed beans, and a handful of arugula with olive oil and lemon, or tofu, quinoa, and roasted peppers. Add a glass of water and, if possible, a 10-minute walk afterward. Track your afternoon energy and focus with a simple note on your phone. Many people feel a sharper mind and a steadier mood within days, not because of magic, but because the liver's workload becomes more predictable. If you've been nodding because these first 2 signs sound familiar, take that as a good thing. You're noticing. Awareness opens a clear path forward, one that respects your schedule, your taste buds, and your health history. We'll keep stacking small wins, and I'll continue to translate the liver's signals into plain language you can use. Stay with me. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results. It may also lead to side effects for some people, particularly when amounts or preparation aren't respected. I'll keep the guidance precise and reasonable so you can apply it with confidence. The first signs we explored, energy dropping after meals and that hazy focus, tend to travel with a second pair of signals that hide in plain sight. Digestion that feels heavier than it should, and a vague, on-again, off-again ache just beneath the right rib cage. These aren't dramatic movie moments. They show up on ordinary days. A rush hour breakfast, a desk lunch with something fried, a late dinner in front of the TV. In North American routines, the combo is common. Crispy chicken with creamy dressing, pizza that lands like a brick, nachos with extra cheese, barbecue plates glossed with sweet sauces. None of these foods are bad, but the frequency, portion size, and timing can quietly overload the system that coordinates bile production, fat handling, and nutrient traffic. Your liver. Here's the simplest way to understand what's happening. The liver makes bile, a detergent-like fluid that helps break dietary fats into tiny droplets so enzymes can do their work. Much of that bile is stored and concentrated in the gallbladder, then released when you eat. When meals arrive back-to-back with lots of fried or ultra-rich foods, when portions are oversized, or when late-night snacking becomes routine, the timing and quality of this bile rhythm can fall out of sync. You feel it as sluggishness after eating, a heavy belly, belching, or a sense that food just sits. That is the third sign, digestive heaviness after fatty meals. A practical fix starts before the first bite. Aim for balance on the plate. Some protein, a generous pile of vegetables, and a modest portion of starch. Add fats with intention. Olive oil drizzled on greens, a few slices of avocado, instead of batter and deep frying. Slide in a handful of bitters that most American plates skip: arugula, radicchio, escarole. Their natural compounds cue the digestive tract to get ready. At the table, slow down. Chewing thoroughly sounds outdated, but it's biochemistry in action. The more you break food down, the less emergency work your gut and liver have to do. Spacing matters too. Grazing all afternoon keeps the system in constant processing mode. If your schedule allows, leave 3 to 4 hours between meals and minimize heavy snacks. Finish dinner 2 to 3 hours before bed to give your body time to clear the queue. A short, easy walk after richer meals, 10 to 15 minutes, acts like a circulatory nudge. No sweat session required, just movement that tells your body to shuttle nutrients where they need to go instead of letting them idle. Fiber deserves a spotlight, but with a clear note on safety. Soluble fibers, like those in oats, beans, apples, and ground flaxseed, bind some bile components and help the intestine move things along. Many people notice less post-meal heaviness when they include fiber routinely. Increase it gradually and pair it with water. Otherwise, you can feel more bloated, not less. If you've been told you have gallstones or specific GI conditions, your clinician's advice comes first. Sudden big fiber jumps are not for everyone. Now, that fourth sign. Some people notice a dull, mild ache or a sense of pressure under the right ribs, especially after a heavy or rushed meal. It's not sharp, and it often passes in an hour or two. Think of it as a body nudge, a reminder that the traffic controller is dealing with a rush hour that never ends. This is where judgment matters. A gentle, intermittent sensation that improves as your diet balances out is one thing. Severe or escalating pain, fever, nausea, vomiting, yellowing of the skin or eyes, clay-colored stools, or very dark urine. Those are medical flags that need prompt evaluation. Education empowers safe choices. It does not replace care when care is needed. Let's make adjustments feel doable in a North American kitchen. If fried chicken is a weekly ritual, keep the ritual but change the method. Oven-bake breaded chicken on a wire rack for crisp texture with less oil, and serve it over a peppery arugula salad dressed with olive oil and lemon. If pizza is your comfort food, add a side salad first and blot excess oil with a napkin. 2 slices with vegetables can be a satisfying meal when you lead with fiber. If barbecue is on the menu, try a dry rub and a tangy vinegar-based sauce instead of the ultra-sweet kind. Keep sauces on the side. You'll taste more and use less. Some gentle kitchen allies can help when used in modest amounts. Fresh ginger shavings in hot water after a rich meal can feel soothing for many people. A squeeze of lemon or a thin strip of zest in water before lunch can cue your senses toward a lighter choice. A pinch of ground turmeric in soups or roasted vegetables adds warmth without effort. These are culinary additions, not treatments. Go easy, observe how you feel, and stop if something bothers your stomach. If you take medications, especially blood thinners, check with your clinician before making herbs and spices a daily habit. Portioning is a quiet superpower. Restaurants often serve more than your physiology needs. Consider splitting entrees, choosing an appetizer as your main, or boxing a portion before you start eating. The goal isn't austerity, it's pacing. The liver thrives on predictability and modest peaks, not on feast and famine swings. Alcohol fits that same principle. If you drink, keep it moderate and avoid back-to-back nights. Your liver will always move alcohol to the front of the line, postponing other tasks. A brief word about over-the-counter pain relievers and supplements. More isn't more. Acetaminophen, for example, has strict daily limits, and hidden doses can appear in cold medications. Certain herbal concentrates can stress the gut or interact with prescriptions. Read labels, keep doses conservative, and involve a health professional if you're unsure. Your future self will thank you for the extra minute of attention. As you experiment with these adjustments, pay attention to your own signals. Many people notice that the after-meal heaviness fades when they front-load meals with vegetables, swap deep-fried for baked or grilled, and give the body a little time and movement after eating. That lingering right-side ache often quiets down as the routine becomes steadier. None of this demands perfection. It asks for small, consistent nudges that make it easier for your liver to keep pace with your life. Keep going. You've already started translating quiet bodily whispers into practical action. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results. It may also lead to side effects for some people, particularly when amounts or preparation aren't respected. I'll keep the guidance precise and reasonable so you can apply it with confidence. The mirror sometimes tells the story before lab tests do. When the liver's daily workload creeps up, extra sweet drinks, frequent fried foods, late-night eating, and long stretches of sitting, your skin can become a subtle reporter. Not a siren, a reporter. You might notice that moisturizer seems to disappear faster, that a low-grade itch visits at night without a clear rash, or that breakouts show up along the jawline even if your teenage years are long past. Add in stubborn dark circles and a complexion that looks a little dull, and the pattern starts to look familiar. None of these signals are proof of a liver problem, and many other conditions can mimic them. What matters is connecting lifestyle patterns to what your body shows you and using that feedback to make gentle, practical changes. Here's the physiology in plain language. The liver helps package fats, metabolize hormones, and process compounds from food and the environment. When inputs arrive faster than the system can comfortably handle, think sugar-sweetened beverages with lunch, barbecue sauces with high fructose corn syrup at dinner, and a dessert-like coffee to bridge the afternoon, the processing queue lengthens. The result for some people is a background of inflammation and altered bile flow that can show up at the skin. Dryness and itch may reflect changes in the skin barrier and histamine signaling. Breakouts can flare when blood sugar swings are frequent or when oils and fragrance-heavy products irritate already sensitive skin. It's not about blame. It's about noticing how timing, portion size, and ingredients add up across the week. Let's make the clues concrete. If your skin feels drier than usual and you find yourself scratching lightly in the evening, first think hydration. Many American routines are coffee-forward and water-light. Begin the day with a full glass of water before caffeine. Add another glass with lunch and dinner. Dehydration alone can darken urine. Use this as a nudge, not a verdict. If urine stays very dark despite adequate fluids, or if you notice clay-colored stools that persist, that's a reason to seek medical evaluation. Education helps you recognize patterns. Professionals help you understand causes. For breakouts and that stubborn dullness, consider how often quick sugars show up in your day. Sodas, energy drinks, sweet teas, and large bakery items can layer glucose spikes on top of stress and short sleep. Swap one sweet beverage per day for water or unsweetened tea. Build plates that steady the curve, protein, fiber, and colorful plants at each meal. Berries, cabbage, peppers, spinach. Omega-3 fats from salmon, sardines, walnuts, and ground flax can be helpful for many people when included in meals a couple of times each week. Antioxidant-rich foods, citrus, kiwi, bell peppers for vitamin C, sunflower seeds and almonds for vitamin E, support skin structure while you work on lifestyle patterns that make the bigger difference. Skincare matters, but keep it gentle and fragrance-free. Switch to a mild, non-foaming cleanser. Avoid harsh scrubs that create micro-irritation. Shorten hot showers. Lukewarm water preserves your skin's barrier. After bathing, apply a plain moisturizer with ceramides while skin is still slightly damp. If you shave, use a non-comedogenic product and rinse thoroughly. For sunscreen, pick a broad-spectrum SPF you'll actually wear. Tanning beds don't belong in any skin routine. They age the skin and offer zero liver benefits. Another overlooked piece is fabric and detergent. If itching clusters where clothing sits snug, waistband, shoulders, backs of knees, try fragrance-free, dye-free detergent and skip fabric softeners. Sometimes the fix is in the laundry room, not the medicine cabinet. If symptoms persist, a clinician or dermatologist can help rule out other explanations like eczema, allergies, or thyroid issues. Bile deserves a moment here. Its job is to emulsify fats so you can absorb them, and it also helps waste products exit through the gut. When bile flow is sluggish, digestion can feel heavy, and the skin can look a little more reactive. Gentle food-first strategies can support that rhythm. A small salad of bitter greens, arugula, radicchio, dandelion, before the main course. A squeeze of lemon on roasted vegetables, and a modest amount of healthy fat, like olive oil, to keep things moving. A tablespoon of freshly ground flaxseed in oatmeal or yogurt adds fiber that binds bile components, but pair it with a full glass of water. Increase gradually to avoid bloating. Sleep is skincare and liver care. The late-night screen habit paired with a salty snack is a familiar North American pattern that can compound next-day cravings and dullness. Create a simple wind-down. Dim lights, a warm shower, a paperback, phone charging outside the bedroom. Set a caffeine curfew 8 hours before bed. If you enjoy alcohol, keep it modest and avoid using it as a sleep aid. It fragments rest and shifts liver priorities overnight. Here's a short, realistic experiment. For 14 days, try a skin and bile-friendly template. Start lunch and dinner with 2 cups of leafy greens dressed with olive oil and lemon. Choose water or unsweetened iced tea with meals. Add an omega-3 source 4 times across the 2 weeks, and include 1 cup per day of berries or citrus. Track your skin's feel, not just its look, in a note on your phone. Itch level at night, dryness in the morning, how makeup sits, or how beard stubble feels on shaved skin. Many people notice that steadier meals and simple hydration make their complexion calmer without any complicated routine. A safety note, clearly stated. If you experience severe itching that keeps you up at night, yellowing of the skin or eyes, easy bruising, unexplained weight loss, or persistent changes in stool or urine color, seek medical evaluation. What we're doing here is educational and supportive. The goal is to spot patterns and choose behaviors that reduce strain, not to diagnose or treat disease. The encouraging part is this: skin responds to rhythms. When you hydrate consistently, favor whole foods, curb added sugars, build in small movement after meals, keep showers short and lukewarm, and protect with sunscreen, the reflection in the mirror often looks steadier and feels more comfortable. That is your body saying thank you in a language you can see and touch. Stay with me. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results. It may also lead to side effects for some people, particularly when amounts or preparation aren't respected. I'll keep the guidance precise and reasonable so you can apply it with confidence. If the skin clues and the heavy after meals feeling sounded familiar, take a breath. This is the pivot point where tiny changes start paying rent. I'm not asking you to abandon Friday pizza night or swear off barbecue forever. I'm asking for smart structure, the kind that calms the daily traffic your liver manages so it can keep doing quiet, essential work. Think of these moves as a friendly edit of the North American routine, still convenient, still tasty, just less punishing on your physiology. Begin with a hydration cadence you can remember even on hectic days. 1 full glass on waking, 1 with lunch, 1 with dinner. If you love coffee, keep it. Drink the first water before it. Unsweetened tea or seltzer can ride shotgun at meals. Skip syrups and creamy toppers that turn sips into dessert. This alone lightens the liver's load because sweetened beverages tend to arrive fast and in large volumes. The body doesn't register liquid calories the way it does solids. Without noticing, refills stack up. Next, build a steadier plate without counting anything. Anchor each meal with 3 parts: protein you like, rotisserie chicken, tofu, beans, eggs, a generous pile of vegetables, raw, roasted, sautéed, and a modest portion of starch, potatoes, brown rice, whole grain bread. Add fat on purpose, not by accident. Olive oil, avocado, or a handful of nuts instead of deep frying. Slide in a bitter note before the main dish, arugula, radicchio, or escarole with lemon and a pinch of salt. Those flavors cue your digestive rhythm like a friendly bell. Timing matters more than perfection. If you can leave 3 to 4 hours between meals and finish dinner 2 to 3 hours before bed, your system can clear the queue instead of processing non-stop. A 10-minute walk after larger meals is underrated medicine. It nudges blood sugar and triglycerides in the right direction without drama. If the weather is awful, march in place while a show loads, or climb a flight of stairs once or twice. Small, repeatable beats, big, heroic performances that fade after a week. Now let's translate this into the American everyday. Drive-through breakfast? Choose the egg-based sandwich, skip the extra sauce packet, and add a piece of fruit later. Deli run? Pick a turkey sandwich on whole grain, pile on greens, and split the chips. Add a side of slaw or a cup of soup. Pizza night? Lead with a side salad, blot extra oil, and enjoy 2 slices loaded with vegetables. Backyard barbecue? Go heavy on the dry rub, lighter on the sticky sweet sauce, and put beans and a green salad on the same plate. Free refills? Alternate each refill with water. The goal isn't to police pleasure, it's to avoid a 4-hour traffic jam in your metabolism. Fiber gets its own paragraph because it quietly changes outcomes. Oats at breakfast, beans a few times a week, berries most days, and a tablespoon of freshly ground flaxseed in yogurt or oatmeal can help bind bile components and keep things moving. Build up gradually and pair each fiber bump with water. Otherwise, you can feel more bloated before you feel better. If you've been told you have gallstones or a sensitive gut, increase fiber with your clinician's guidance. Let's name a few stealth habits that sabotage progress. Late-night snacking, especially salty chips or sweets in front of a screen, doesn't just add calories. It shifts the liver's priorities into the night and fragments sleep. Big weekend alcohol followed by weekday detox creates a feast and famine pattern your liver doesn't love. Oversized, healthy smoothies can hide a dessert's worth of sugar. Supplements in mega doses can backfire. More isn't more. Read labels on over-the-counter meds. Acetaminophen has firm daily limits, and cold and flu combinations sometimes include it under different names. Because safety matters, let's set simple guardrails. Keep changes food first and gentle. If you're pregnant or breastfeeding, on anticoagulants or diabetes medication, or living with gallbladder or liver disease, talk to a professional before making big shifts. Herbs and spices are culinary allies at modest amounts. In high doses or concentrated extracts, they can irritate the stomach or interact with prescriptions. Respect quantities and preparation. That's why, when I share a kitchen strategy, I'll give exact measures and a clear method you can repeat. Here's a 7-day template that fits a busy week. Day 1-2, fix breakfast, protein plus fiber, oatmeal with yogurt and berries, or eggs with greens. Day 3, add the hydration cadence, water on waking, with lunch, with dinner. Day 4, place a 10-minute walk after your largest meal. Day 5, swap one sweet beverage for water or unsweetened tea. Day 6, add a bitter salad starter to lunch or dinner. Day 7, pick one late-night snack you'll trade for a calming wind-down ritual. Track how you feel in 3 words each evening: energy, digestion, mood. Patterns appear fast when you pay friendly attention. If you cook at home even once or twice a week, choose one pan meal that leans on vegetables and a lean protein, and cook extra. Roasted sheet pan chicken with peppers and onions, or tofu with broccoli and carrots, gives you leftovers that turn into tomorrow's balanced lunch in under 2 minutes. If you don't cook, stock your fridge with assembly foods: pre-washed greens, rotisserie chicken or canned beans, microwavable brown rice, cherry tomatoes, hummus, nuts. Think of your kitchen as a staging area for better defaults, not a test you can fail. Most important, treat this as a conversation with your body. Notice what meals leave you clear-eyed and comfortable and which leave you heavy and unfocused. Keep the winners on repeat. Replace one habit at a time, not all at once. In a month, the background noise, the heaviness, the fog, the skin, grumbles, often quiets. That's your biology thanking you for predictable, friendly inputs. Stay with me. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results. It may also lead to side effects for some people, particularly when amounts or preparation aren't respected. I'll keep the guidance precise and reasonable so you can apply it with confidence. This is where method beats hype. When people talk about natural support, the missing piece is almost always preparation. How much, how hot, how long, and how often. Those details turn a good idea into a gentle ally instead of an irritant. You've already built the foundation: steadier meals, purposeful hydration, small movement after eating. Now we'll add one kitchen ritual that many people find soothing after richer meals, and as promised at the beginning of our journey, a fast breakfast upgrade that works only when you follow the steps. Let's start with the warm cup that plays nicely with a busy schedule. You'll make a mild ginger turmeric infusion with a citrus note. It isn't a cure or a medical treatment. It's a culinary support that aligns with how digestion works. The goal is comfort and consistency, not heroics. Gather your ingredients for a single cup: one thin slice of fresh ginger, about 5 grams, roughly the size of a quarter if laid flat, half a teaspoon of turmeric powder or a 1 centimeter slice of fresh turmeric, a tiny pinch of black pepper, literally a few grains between your fingers, and a thin strip of lemon peel from 1/4 of a lemon, avoiding the white pith. You'll also need 250 milliliters, about 1 cup, of water. Here's the part most people rush and get wrong: Heat the water until it is almost at a simmer, but stop before vigorous boiling. Turn off the heat. Add the ginger, turmeric, black pepper, and lemon peel. Cover the pot or cup and let it steep for 6 to 8 minutes. Covering matters. Aromatic compounds evaporate with steam, and you want them in the cup, not in the air. Strain, let it cool to a comfortable warmth, and sip slowly. If you'd like sweetness, add a small amount of honey only after the drink has cooled slightly. Heat can degrade some of honey's delicate aromas, and too much sugar defeats the point. Frequency is modest. 1 cup after breakfast or after your richest meal, 3 or 4 times per week. Keep a rest day between if your stomach is sensitive. Why these specifics? Ginger's warming compounds feel soothing to many people. Turmeric's pigments are better tolerated at low doses, and black pepper in a tiny pinch helps with kitchen chemistry. More is not better here. A heaped spoon or double steeping can taste harsh and upset your stomach. Safety comes first, so let's be explicit. If you're pregnant or breastfeeding, have gallstones, ulcers, reflux, or are taking anticoagulants, antiplatelets, or anti-inflammatory medications, check with a clinician before making this a routine. If you try it and feel burning, cramping, or nausea, stop. Culinary use is the goal. Concentrated extracts and capsules are a different conversation and should be supervised by a professional. Now for the fast breakfast upgrade I promised at the very beginning, the under 30-second move that pairs perfectly with an American morning. You'll add freshly ground flaxseed and cinnamon to a warm bowl of oats. But the sequence matters. Cook your oatmeal as usual, water or milk, your choice. Then take the pot off the heat. Stir in 1 tablespoon of flaxseed that you just ground, a coffee grinder works, and half a teaspoon of cinnamon. Do not boil the flax. High heat can degrade its delicate oils and flavor. Let the bowl sit for a minute to thicken, then eat. Drink a glass of water alongside so the fiber can do its job. Why this works for many people. Flax brings soluble fiber and plant omega-3s. Cinnamon adds flavor that nudges you away from extra sugar, and the combo creates satiety that steadies your morning. If oats aren't your thing, swirl the same flax and cinnamon mix into plain yogurt with berries, or sprinkle it over a slice of whole grain toast spread with natural peanut butter. Keep the amounts the same and keep the sequence. Heat first, flax second. Let me give you a simple 2-week plan that pairs these ideas without overwhelming your calendar. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, sip the ginger turmeric infusion after your richest meal. On the other days, stick with water or unsweetened tea and your 10-minute walk. Every morning for 14 days, use the flax and cinnamon upgrade with breakfast and anchor lunch or dinner with a bitter green side. 2 cups of arugula, radicchio, or mixed spring greens with olive oil and lemon. Keep the hydration cadence, morning, lunch, dinner, and the evening wind down that protects your sleep. Track 3 data points each day: after meal heaviness, light to heavy, afternoon focus, clear to foggy, and skin feel, calm to itchy. By day 10, many people see calmer digestion and more stable energy. Not because of a miracle, but because inputs have become predictable and quantities reasonable. Common mistakes to avoid: oversteeping until the infusion turns bitter, using a big pinch of black pepper for extra effect, unnecessary and potentially irritating, swapping fresh flax for a bag that's been open for months and tastes oily. That's rancidity. Grind fresh or store ground flax in the fridge, and adding large amounts of sugar or flavored creamers that push your system back onto the roller coaster. Remember, we're aiming for gentle support, not extremes. If alcohol is part of your week, spread it out and keep it modest. The liver always moves alcohol to the front of the line, delaying everything else, including how it processes components from foods and the environment. Pair any drink with a meal, hydrate alongside, and plan alcohol-free days to give your system breathing room. Read labels on over-the-counter meds. Duplicates can sneak in. And if anything you try makes you feel worse, pause and reassess with a professional who knows your health history. Here's the most encouraging truth: your liver thrives on predictability. When meals are balanced, beverages are thoughtful, movement appears after eating, and small culinary supports are prepared correctly, the body often responds with quieter signals: less heaviness, steadier afternoons, calmer skin. That's your biology saying, I can keep up with this. Celebrate those wins. Consistency is not glamorous, but it is powerful. As we wrap, choose one action you'll do today. Set out a glass by the coffee maker so water comes first. Prep a container of greens and lemon for quick salads. Place whole flaxseed near your oatmeal and plug in the grinder. Small setups remove friction so good intentions become real behaviors. If this guidance helped you connect the dots, share it with someone who's been running on empty, tap the like, and subscribe so we can keep building practical, trustworthy health skills together. Your body isn't asking for perfection, just for a rhythm it can rely on. Stay with me. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results. It may also lead to side effects for some people, particularly when amounts or preparation aren't respected. I'll keep the guidance precise and reasonable so you can apply it with confidence.